Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here today looking at The Chameleon, a game by Ricky Tada, published by Big Potato, with a cover that might make it hard for you to see what the game actually is. But if you're in the store with a big green box, the title you can't read, you can figure it's this one. So this is a game for 3 to 8 players that Tada originally self-published under his own Le Mans Games in 2016 under the name Gooseberry. And it's of a genre that I will call the clueless player. One player among this game does not know what's going on, but they must pretend that they do know. The first example of a game of this type that I know of is A Fake Artist Goes to New York, was released in 2012 by Jun Sasaki of Oink Games, in which people are drawing something, but one player does not know what they are drawing. So other people try to spot that player, but that player tries to figure out what they're actually drawing in order to not be left out of the group, essentially. In Spyfall in 2014, players are spies going to a particular location. One player does not know where they're going, but tries to figure that out and pretend that they do know. You also have Insider, also from Oink Games in 2016. You got Werewords in 2017. I think there's a couple others, along with Gooseberry. Players are trying to pretend that they know what a particular word is that everyone knows, but the Chameleon does not and wants to blend in among them. Tada is also the designer of Coup, which is another game with bluffing and deduction and people trying to pretend they know things that they might not know. So it sort of fits along with his MO for previous designs. But how does this game work? Here are the components in the Chameleon. You have a deck of topic cards, which we'll get to in a moment. You have 2 sets of player cards. You only use one in a round, and you can alternate them. You have your own topic card that you can make yourself, should you care to write down 16 somewhat related topics with the erasable marker included in the box. I have not done this yet. Each player is going to receive one of these player cards. You adjust the card so you have as many as the number of players in the game. With 6, you'd have this. One player at random and without anyone knowing will receive this Chameleon card. Everyone else will receive this grid card. Someone will roll the dice. You'll see which column to look at and which row. So 6 and 7, you go across, go down. 6 and 7 is A1. What does A1 relate to? The topics for this round. So you reveal a card, you see phobias. You look at A1, which is ghost. So everyone except the Chameleon knows that they're talking about ghost. But what are they going to say? So at this point, everyone looks at the card, including the Chameleon, and thinks of a single word. You take 30 seconds, a minute, you can figure out how you want to do this, and you can raise your hand when you have a clue, or however you want to clue to each other that you have a word and are ready. Once everyone is ready, starting with the dealer, you say the word just around the table. All right? You may say empty, sheet, house, dead. I don't know what else you want to say. The problem is, so of course the Chameleon needs to have some word that they can say to try not to stand out. Now you can try to think up something on the fly, but you're supposed to just give the words like that going around the table. So you look at the card and you try to figure out something that sort of fits with a lot of words. Maybe not, you're not sure, but you as the clue giver also want to do the same thing. So you go around the table, give all the words. Okay. Everyone then talks, debates. Why did you say this? You said spooky? Really? For a phobia? That's pretty generic. I think you're suspicious in here. But maybe they actually meant spooky because it sort of works as a normal Halloween term for ghost. If you know the word and you hear their clue, you might be able to interpret where they're coming from and how they reach that word. But maybe not. So in any case, you debate for a little while. You count 3, 2, 1, point. And you point. Everyone points at who they think is the Chameleon. If there's a tie, whoever's the dealer for the round gets to break the tie. That player then reveals their card. If they were the Chameleon, haha, you have caught them. However, if the Chameleon can then name the topic that everyone was talking about, then the Chameleon actually wins. So you have to think of a word that can clue into others that you know what you're talking about, but without cluing in the Chameleon. It's a little tricky. You can play the Chameleon with points if you want. If people accuse someone and it's not the Chameleon, then the Chameleon gets 2 points for getting away completely. No one even blew their cover. If the Chameleon is revealed, but they can name the topic under question, they get a point. If they name the Chameleon, the Chameleon doesn't know, everyone else gets 2 points. You play multiple rounds until someone gets to 5 points. Now, I played twice on a review copy from Big Potato, and we have not played with points, and we have not really kept score, and we have not really recorded who won the games. We just sort of had rolling games, as is the nature of this type of game. You play a Codenames or a Spyfall or something like this, you're not really keeping score. You're doing it for the interaction with other people, and then you just do it again. Now, the Chameleon suffers from what Tom Felber, one of the jurists of the Spiel des Jahres committee, has dubbed the Omega player problem. And he came up with this term when talking about Magic Maze, where essentially you are playing to the worst level of the player. Cooperative games often are accused of having an alpha player problem where one player can lead the group and tell everyone else what to do. The Omega player problem is you're sort of playing down to the lowest level of whoever is in the game. And this can be with the Chameleon and other games like this. I was playing with kids at various times, and my mother was not really grasping the game and would not give great clues, and we would call her out all the time as the Chameleon because she just was not getting the nature of the game. We were playing with my son, and he gave a clue of chocolate when the topic that we were all trying to clue one another about was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which kind of gives the game away when you're looking at children's books and you say chocolate. Of course, one other person said blueberry, and another one else, I forget what they said, but the Chameleon knew immediately what it was. Just done. So you're playing to sort of the lowest level of the player. Everyone has to be good enough that you're not cluing in the Chameleon to what the actual word is, but you don't know how to get there. You can only do your part and hope that everyone else lives up to it. And yeah, I don't want to kick people out of the group. I mean, my son liked playing and I wanted to keep playing with him. And he actually turned this around in a later round. The clue that we were trying to give, I think the topic was landscapes or terrain, something like that. And we were all trying to give clues for desert. And the person to his right started the round, said sand. He immediately said desert. And we're like, I thought he was giving it away again. I thought he somehow had just clued it. But no, he was the Chameleon, and it just blurted out desert as soon as the player next to him said sand. He didn't even try to get away. He's just like, I will win this round because I know what you're talking about already. So it's this weird conundrum of playing, and yet we kept playing and kept playing and kept playing, even if you had this sort of Omega player problem, because it was still interesting and fun, and you're trying to do your part for the team and pull this all up here, and it's an interesting challenge when you do get that card and are the Chameleon to try to come up with the right clue and play off someone else. And sometimes people will just say the same word because they're thinking along the same lines, and then you look suspicious anyway if you were the second one. Do you just say that because the other person said that and you didn't know what to think, but you were saying that anyway? It's a very fluid game where you're just playing, you shuffle, you do it again and again, you switch from one player card to the other, and you just keep playing. You're bouncing things off other people, and you're seeing what they come up with. And some people think they're terrible at games like this, and then they turn out to be okay. They just have not really tried games like this. Yeah, it's an interesting little issue. So, there you go. Overview of the Chameleon.